Hello and welcome to the Our Metroidvania podcast. This is Cauldrath from the Our Metroidvania subreddit and Discord.
Hi, this is Master. I'm also from there.
Hi, I'm Atcero, and I can't think of anything today, so I'm just gonna say, I'm the local cursed nerd. Why not?
Oh. Today, we're playing Recursed. It's a recursive puzzle game. That is all I know. Let's begin.
Got a witty name. Are you actually cursed as well? Or is it just recursive?
I don't know.
We're gonna find
didn't-
out.
And then it doesn't tell you in the intro?
So yeah, today our topic is horror games again. And hopefully we don't cover anything we talked about last time. But we probably will.
Yeah.
Let's be real here.
Yeah, there probably was a good bit of ground we didn't cover though, so...
Oh yeah, there's definitely is. Oh, you're adorable. You definitely look cursed. Look like you could use some more meat on your bones. Oh no, I forgot to shill. No! Did you shill?
I did
No.
not chill.
Oh no, we're terrible casters. Here, I'll do a shill. Completely forgot.
Wait, so what was the point of the ring there?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Maybe it will become relevant later.
Perhaps it will.
There we go. I gotta start bullying people into watching. By calling them a nerd.
Saying that they're nerds if they don't watch a Metroidvania specific podcast?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how
Oh.
things work.
They're so nerdy for not watching us. It just angers me.
Mm-hmm. They're doing something else that's even nerdier than watching a Metroidvania podcast.
Playing the Metroidvanias.
This is not a Metroidvania, by the way.
Okay, how
You don't
many
know.
games that we play
May-
are?
Maybe it turns into one later. Oh, I wonder if
Maybe.
this is like Celeste with the like berries and stuff like that, or you like get a bonus if you get the ring to the exit.
I don't know.
Yeah, horror games. What is a horror game? What makes a horror game? Are horror games even scary? Find this and more. Tune in at 9 p.m. Central, aka 3 minutes ago, to find out.
Alright, you already
Oh.
missed it. We already covered it.
Damn. Wanna see me do it again?
So yeah, like I guess we never really talked about like Resident Evil. or
I've
any of
never
those
played
type
a Resident Evil.
Wow.
We never owned any of those. Didn't even have. The only time I knew of Silent Hill was the ad in the back of my Castlevania manual.
So you haven't played any Resident Evil games, you haven't played any Silent Hill games.
Nope.
Interesting.
So your experience with the horror genre is what, Luigi's Mansion? And, well, I guess a lot of those point and clicks you played
Yeah.
kind of have some horror.
Most of my horror is actually through point and clicks. And watching. I mainly watch horror videos, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, the amount of manly badass videos I've watched are. It's a lot. It's a lot. A lot of
Manly
RPG.
Badass.
Huh?
What does Manly Badass have to do with horror?
That's like most of his content is horror videos.
Oh, I thought you were talking about somebody like that was a manly badass, not somebody who was named.
No, his
Manly
name,
Badass.
his YouTube name is Manly Badass Hero. That is his
Okay.
actual YouTube account name. And like his main username on all platforms.
Interesting.
Yeah, I grew up watching a lot with like Markiplier and shit. So I'd watch, like, a lot of the SCP containment breaches. Oh god, there's a lot of games that I've watched in my life. All those hours I could have spent doing something productive, but instead I watched horror games.
I wonder if streamers or just
And chess.
There's
some kind of weird logic.
there a person talking now? Yeah, okay, throwing the rings is dialogue, I guess. I didn't realize that.
Oh, so that's...
Lore
I
objects.
can't put my finger on it for the ring.
Ah, if you like it, you should have put a ring on it.
But I wonder if the kind of social element that can exist when experiencing a horror game, like how much that takes away from the horror experience. It's like watching someone play Alien Isolation and react to it on stream, for example, or playing a horror game with friends. Kind of takes
does.
away a lot of the experience at
Hi, Amber.
times. And yet you also have games like Phasmophobia where they're multiplayer and yet like people will still scream at
Phas
those.
is not... Actually, now that they have nightmare mode, it can be pretty scary if you're the person who bought everything. Because most of the time when you're playing Phas, one person buys most of the shit. And if you're the person who dies, you're very scared about trying not to die, because then you're gonna lose everything. It's fucking hilarious, though. With your friends.
I actually played Phasmophobia on the stream with Professor Q.
3 boxes.
Why aren't we playing
It should be
Phasmophobia
2.
together, guys?
That's not what I expected.
We should have a Phasmophobia podcast night
That's terrible.
where we just make... Oh, I would be not very safe for work with how I talk to the ghosts.
So how would that be different than usual?
Yeah.
You would be on stream. I don't think we've had a stream where I've actually been allowed to swear and Q's been on.
There's a rather...
Oh, yeah. Well, you probably swore on the...
Oh, I did.
that one, yeah.
I tried not to, but I did. Hi, Amber. No. Those are my headphones. No.
Key.
Baby cat.
So back for the dialogue that I missed.
But yeah, talk about Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Those are spooky games. With spooky elements like zombies and fungal stuff.
Well, Resident Evil is more like Castlevania, where it's like they use horror tropes, but it's not so much horror. There are some like occasional elements of it. There's like, so it is called survival horror, where you do have limited resources, so
Yeah.
there's kind of that aspect where like you'll be running low on ammo.
Some sort of
Yeah, kind of
something
like
like-
Half-Life Alex.
I guess.
Because that was the main
But yeah,
concern for me in it.
The ammo thing does, that's where a lot of the tension can come from.
Yeah.
And limited
Knowing that
healing
you're not
items, too.
adequately prepared to deal with things that lie ahead.
No. I've checked the whole room, and I can't see a way out. I didn't miss anything. It was worth a try.
Can you throw it again for more dialogue, or is it just that one?
I'm assuming it's just that one from what I've seen.
Yeah, resource management
There's
does
a
seem
rather
to be
fetching
the main
brown
horror
hat
thing
on
for those kinds of games.
When I was
That
peeling
and
out the edge, I
big
noticed
fucking
it.
tittied
falling from my
vampire
head.
goth mommy trying to kill you.
There's a rather fetching brown hat. There's a rather...
I haven't played any of the newer ones. Like I haven't played 7 or 8. So I've heard they're more horror-y.
I watched all of 7. I've seen a bit of 8.
I've played 7, it's a bit goofy at times.
What's a game without a little bit of goof, though? Amber, no.
It may
Well,
also
that's
be a thing with the fact that you have very kind of exaggerated characters existing within that world. Like maybe it's harder to take a character seriously when they have one-liners, you know?
Or when they punch boulders.
Uh-huh.
like
But yeah, there's kind of a separation. You've got like Resident Evil 1 through 3, and then you have 4, 5, and 6, and then you have 7 and 8. And they have like different kinds of camp and different kinds of like action.
Mhm.
So like the first 3, you do have some like resource, or like focused on like limited resources, and then like 4, 5, and 6, you pretty much just never run out of anything. Unless you're just like, I am going to use only this gun, and
all this ammo on one zombie or
Yeah.
werewolf or whatever.
right.
If they did,
Sure.
And
got
it's
to
more like it's like the 4, 5, 6 is more like even more like Castlevania, where it's just like it's focusing on the action. Although 6 kind of tried something where they had 3 different campaigns, and then they were focusing on the different campaigns. Like one of them was more action, one of them was more stealth, and I think the other one was trying to be more like the old games or something.
Interesting. I've never played 6. I do find it interesting how people praise 4 for the action, and then you know what happened, like leaning into action with 5. It's 6, I guess. People didn't like that nearly as much.
Yeah.
So I would argue that even in 4, the atmosphere, while it is unique for 4, it's a bit. I guess the horror elements are a bit dampened because of the action set pieces, basically.
Yeah, I think it was like more focused on body horror is the type of thing.
Yay, body horror. Horror of bodies
Yeah.
being grotesque and gross.
Yeah.
You might have to, yeah, just restart this one.
Did we ever talk much about RPG horror games?
We did not.
'Cause that's like actually one of the biggest indie kind of scene of horror games out there, in my opinion.
Like what game would you consider to be a RPG horror game?
RPG Maker horror game. I should specify. So
Ah.
stuff like Witch's House, Ebe, Mad Father, Crooked Man. There's
I don't know any of those words.
bunch of them that I can't remember. Ao Oni.
And when you enter it,
That's a classic one.
it's recreated. If you leave
Those
something
I
anywhere,
would probably say are one of the
it
more
ceases to exist too.
not prolific, but like one of the more well-known kinds of indie horror. Mainly because if you have RPG Maker, you can make them. Like, they give you all the assets. And so what people try to do when they're making those kinds of games is mainly actually focus more on creating tension, not through the graphics and stuff, but through the story, through the environments, through the atmosphere, and all of that. While not pretty much essentially focusing on doing it through the graphics. Unless you're a badass pixel artist like the person who did Ebe. They did fucking amazing in that game. But usually they're very story-focused, very story-driven. While still, they're usually heavier on the puzzles as well. There's
Okay,
not much...
when you say puzzle.
I mean your kind of activities.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, it depends on the game. Like, sometimes I used to watch those and I would figure it out right away. Other times I wouldn't be sure exactly what to do. I mean, they're not bad puzzles. They're not, like... They're not super easy, but they're not, like... They're not brain-dead easy, I should say. But they're not difficult, either. I think they're a good mix for that kind of game that they're made for. They're usually pretty entertaining. They're usually pretty good. Oh, there was this one good one about an art school that got fucked up.
What happened to the art school?
If a student stays there past 12 o'clock, they essentially get turned into a demon in the school, and they go missing.
Oh.
Oh, great.
And you find out
It's
why
this
is that
again.
this girl died
Didn't know that could happen.
because the principal was a fuckhead who essentially was sleeping with the students. And one of the girls died trying to protect her friend from it. And he killed her because he was getting favors from this girl's friend. And she said, I'm gonna haunt your fucking school. Past 12 o'clock, you're gonna get fucked.
Oh.
And so instead of him owning up to his mistake, he hid the body. Covered up the story. So this girl started haunting the school like she fucking said she would.
Seems like it's a bit indiscriminate.
I mean, you don't figure this out until the very end. It's not hinted at.
Why doesn't she make the principal go missing?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That's
It's just
essentially
like,
she wanted to make him suffer, which was through his school. And since he didn't stay past, he didn't suffer. And he tried implementing a rule that no student was to be past that time, mainly to save his own skin, but not everyone followed it because they were... In this case, girl's case, she fell asleep.
I mean, I don't know. You just not kill random kids.
Dude, it's a horror game! What do you expect?
Uh-huh.
Do you expect sensibility?
No, I guess not.
I was gonna say, that doesn't come often in horror games. I mean, look at this half-destroyed wall. I need a key to unlock the door, though. Or, you know, gonna become a Jill sandwich.
Yeah. I have not played the first Resident Evil, but it seems like it was the, one of the campiest. Is it?
It's probably the most campy, but there's a bit of survivorship bias there where the campiest parts became memes, and so they're the most well known.
It's true.
But I mean, like, Resident Evil 5 had Chris punching the boulder.
That's beautiful. What do you mean? I support this. Punch all the
Yeah.
boulders you want.
But it is campy.
Oh, God, yeah.
It is very campy.
You doing an
Yes,
infinite glitch?
It's not a
He's-
glitch,
he's-
that's one of the game's
that's-
mechanics.
Yeah.
Is that you can infinitely duplicate objects by taking them out through the
This-
thing.
This character has an object permanence problem.
Mhm.
I can't see it. It must not exist anymore. I have to create a new one.
That's basically how it is.
Spamming companion cubes be like.
Mhm. It's a puzzle.
Mm.
Those are cute jump noises.
You got it now? Yeah.
Or some other horror elements. Trying to think.
The Binding of Isaac has a lot of grotesque horror.
Yeah, they have
You
a
could
lot
say,
of body
but it
horror.
also has religious themed horror. And the main story, of course, is about
Yep.
an atrocity that a woman commits in the name of God.
Mm.
Well, isn't the true ending? Spoilers for Binding of Isaac. Wait, Master, do you know the true ending kind of?
Yes, I'm aware.
Cauldrath, do you care?
I'd go
So
for it.
the true ending was made a long time after the original game was made.
Yes. And spoilers for Binding of Isaac. Gonna warn. Skip a few minutes ahead. Essentially it was found out that this kid was just making a story. And that no actual
Well,
Isaac dying in the trunk. So it
Well,
depends
it
on
could-
depends on the ending you, I guess, perceive as the true ending.
it can be interpreted that it's the Isaac is already dead and he's making a story, but he's making a story while he's dead in heaven.
Yeah. I like to think that he survived and he's just being a weird kid. That's my head
Yeah.
canon. I want the kid to live.
Yeah.
Not all endings are happy.
I've seen Pixar endings.
Mhm.
And a lot of horror movies where there is not always a good ending. Looking at you, fucking Cabin in the Woods. Amber, no. That is my, no. Out.
Have
Amber.
you guys played Doki Doki Literature Club?
I've watched it, or I know what happens, I should say. That's pretty well done.
I have not,
Do you care
played
about
it.
spoilers?
no.
So, what happens in Doki Doki is that it starts out as a regular dating sim. Everything's normal. Also, again, spoilers for Doki Doki Literature Club. And when you get done with essentially the first day, you find your childhood best friend has hung herself. And then the game progresses as if she never existed. And then it continues to other characters doing insane and questionable things, like one of them stabs herself a bunch. I think the other one gets crushed by a bookcase, I want to say? Cauldrath would know better.
I think it depends on the order. Like, I think, like the first two do whatever, and then like the third one gets skipped,
Hmm.
or like they just like immediately do their thing.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know if you want to continue it or I can. Either way works.
But yeah, it's just like the girls just keep killing themselves, and then like, the one that's left just like, I think she says says that she deleted the other ones, and like she deleted them from the file folder, and like tells you where the file folder is, and then you can go to that same folder and then delete her. And then she's like, "Why did you do that?" And
Because
I
you're a
don't
fucking
remember.
psycho bitch! Trying to take control of my game! Trying to get me to date you! She wasn't even best girl!
Which one do you think was best girl?
I don't even remember. I think the pink-haired. Pink-haired, I think, was my favorite.
I honestly didn't really have a preference. They were all kind of... You could tell there was something very wrong with each of them from the get-go.
And I think that was part of his intent, though, the creator.
Yeah. But it's like, if you're trying to make a, like, dating sim, then...
That's
you
how
probably
most
don't
dating
want...
sims go, don't they? They usually have, like, one glaring kind of flaw.
Right, that's it. I'm backtracking.
I don't know, I haven't really played any of them. I, like, heard... I saw the, like, psychological horror tag on this one and heard that there was something weird about it, so I tried it. And that's the extent of my experience with dating sims.
Oh.
Well, I guess I played, like, Harvest Moon and Mass Effect, where you can, like, choose who you date in those.
Yeah.
Tolly and Gareth.
I don't know what that is. Amber, out! I shouldn't have given you that back. Out!
So apparently you haven't played Mass Effect?
No.
Okay.
I don't play mini shooters.
I mean, it's more of an RPG. Action RPG with abilities and stuff, but
You use a
also
gun?
story focused. I mean, yeah.
Then there you go.
Okay.
I do
I
not
mean, that's
play
a...
mini games
I mean-
with a gun unless it's select few, if I'm gonna be completely honest. And it's sci-fi. That's 2 marks against it for my book.
Okay.
You do have a melee attack.
Is it kind of like a Borderlands melee attack?
I don't remember what the Borderlands melee attack was.
You press a
Isn't it just,
button
like,
and it's just like a punch or something. Depends on the character.
Yeah, you have like the... So they have this, like Omni tool that can, like, reshape itself into, like, pretty much anything.
Mm-hmm.
And, the melee attack is you using, like, transforming that into a blade, and then you like slash them with it. It's kind of like the Halo energy
Sword one of-
blade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's set up kind of like Borderlands too, so they're all kind of the same in that regard.
You can, I mean, you can play Mass Effect and just like do magic stuff. So, like it's just using guns.
Yeah, but it's still sci-fi.
Okay. I mean,
I've-
that's kind of,
I've
what's the word?
explained that I've really, unless it's a certain kind of sci-fi, I never vibe with it. I've never really watched Star Wars. I've never really watched Star Trek. I'm just not a fan of sci-fi.
Can't remember the word. The word for when you are like excessively breaking down something to its barest components.
I mean, I've watched
Like-
gameplay and it just doesn't vibe with me. I know when I like a game and when I won't. And I'm not gonna pay money for a game that I know I'm probably not gonna like. Just to try it because, oh, it might be good. No,
Just trying to think of the word now. Like, it's like deconstructive viewpoint. There's something. I'm not sure what it is.
I don't know. I just know what I like and what I won't like. And so I'm not gonna waste time on something I know I won't like.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you, Master, this is what got Pedro banned.
What are you talking about?
This is the conversation. Me saying that I won't like Death Stranding is what got Pedro banned.
Oh, well, get people banned. Also, I'm not arguing with you. I said, like,
No, I know.
is it okay?
I'm just making a
Let me
joke
bring that up.
because it was funny.
Was it?
I don't think it's funny to start arguments to get people banned.
I didn't try to get him banned. I was just saying I wouldn't like Death Stranding, and then he flew off the deep end. I didn't have to do anything. I was innocent back then.
Back then? In this one particular instance, I was innocent.
I was not the main perpetrator in that one instant, yes. Amber.
Anyway, so yeah, Doki Doki Literature Club was supposed to be like psychological horror because
Yep.
I guess because you like were supposed to be like really surprised when these girls started killing themselves or whatever. I'm not sure.
Amber. Ooh, she's going after the scissors. I think it was because of how he presented it, having no horror elements at all to begin with, and then boom, bitches be killing each other and themselves.
Yeah, it's one of those things that seems like if you were just going into it thinking that it was a dating sim,
Yeah.
then you would have had a very different experience.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people just played it because they knew something was weird about it.
I've noticed that people will often, they'll hear about something and how it has like some sort of surprise, and then they'll know what that surprise is, and then they'll go into the game like because of the surprise, and it kind of ruins the surprise in doing so.
Yeah.
I think it's
Probably
fine
like-
if you don't care about the surprise, though.
Yeah, but if the surprise is the entire like selling point of the game, then you know.
I've done that before. Doesn't always take away from the game. It depends on your mindset with games, though. I know some people would be like, oh man, why did I spoil this? And then others, it's like, who cares?
But yeah, yeah, I think that's kind of similar to the Messenger, where like a lot of people went into it like, oh, I heard that this has Metroidvania elements in it,
Yep, that's what I
and
did.
then yeah, and then the Metroidvania elements aren't that great.
I didn't even care about the Metroidvania elements. I just loved the game overall. It's not a Metroidvania. It's a pseudo-Metroidvania, but it's still a damn fine game.
Yeah, it's one of those games that if you went into it expecting a like a 2D platformer, and then you also liked Metroidvanias, then you would get the ideal experience. But if you were like, if you were like, I'd like to play a Metroidvania, and then somebody recommended it, then you might have an issue.
Agree.
Yeah, I guess with the respect to Doki Doki Literature Club, it kind of just goes back to the same thing where it's just like the meta didn't line up, it didn't line up in a meta way for me, so I was unable to appreciate it fully.
That makes sense. So, does seem like games will get popular for, say, a surprise in them. And it's just odd when so many people will spoil the surprise, kind of, and then it's more popular because of what's in it, not because of what experience people had playing it.
Well, the thing is, I would have never played Doki Doki Literature Club if I didn't. Like, I went into it just knowing, hey, this is a psychological horror. I didn't know anything like specific about it, but it's still like I knew something was going to be up.
Something's kind of sketchy.
Enough it was.
Very cute game though. Like, even outside of the horror elements, it's honestly a really cute game. I like the art style. What other games were kind of like, they didn't advertise themselves as horror, but they kind of turned out to be horror?
People talk about Inscription a lot. I don't really know anything about that game.
I won't say that's... I know what Inscription is. I've never watched any gameplay. This is one of my friends really wants me to play it, but I'll never play it. And it's not exactly not advertised as horror, but I know it does have some kind of eldritch-ish kind of characteristics to it.
Maybe like the kind of horror is just different from the type of horror it initially presents. Like, I think it is possible, especially with, if you have some sort of Lovecraftian theming going on, you can hide that behind other stuff.
Yeah.
Or I guess another example like that would be Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Bloodborne.
Oh, 1 second. Oh no, my cat canceled my screen. Amber!
Get canceled, nerd.
Dicord. Sorry, stream might take a shit for a second. Actually, no. Because I have it set on your screen specifically. So we're good. Amber! You little fuck. I love you, but why?
Yeah, I feel like the way Bloodborne presented the twist was a good way of doing it.
I didn't even know Bloodborne had a twist. I might not want spoilers for that, actually. I plan on playing that someday.
Yeah, let's not discuss that. I'm actually in the middle of a playthrough myself.
Okay.
But it seems good.
Yeah.
Mainly because you're playing in Britain, and it looks pretty true to form so far, from what I've seen.
Yes.
I guess there's not much to say on that game now, so...
Yeah, sorry. Took out your whole talking point.
Yep. And now I've ruined it by telling you that there's a twist. Because you're going to be looking for it, and then when it happens, you're like, oh, that's the twist.
I mean, I kind of expect a twist in those kinds of games, if I'm going to be honest. I don't know what kind of twist, though.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff to observe in that game, you know? Like, I don't think that helps at all.
either of you played BioShock?
Yes.
I played some of it. I never finished it.
Do you
but I
care
am
about
aware.
spoilers?
No.
A
Wait, where did
man
that bird come
chooses,
from?
a slave
It appeared
obeys.
because the game decided to tell me that I did something very wrong that I should not have done.
Would you like to proceed in the Doom world that you have created?
Yeah, exactly.
I have that sticker. I fucking love it so much. Here, let me look at it. Let me read it. Ah, I gotta go to my. Too bad I can't send it to myself. With this character's death, the thread of prophecy is severed. Restore a saved game to restore the weave of fate, or persist in this doom world you have created. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just killed fucking Vivek. How dare you? Kill him later at the correct time. I hate Vivek so much. God, I hate all of the Tribunal. I'm so glad they're dead.
Probably be better for more games to offer freedom and yet allow you to, say, kill quest NPCs than to not allow any freedom.
Well, in Morrowind, you can kill a quest NPCs. It just creates a doomed world.
Yeah,
Right.
And no, the doomed world is only if you do kill an NPC who's like important for the main quest. Anyone else is fair game. You just might fuck over that
Yeah.
quest, but you won't get a doomed world.
Right,
Like,
so
you
I'm
can
saying,
still technically beat the game with the doomed world because you can just use the speedrun route.
Yeah.
right, I wish more games would do something similar to that. Instead of either arbitrarily limiting the decisions you can make, even if they're bad decisions, like killing a quest NPC, or
That's
I
why
don't know, I
like
guess a lot of
Borderlands.
games claim to have lots of decision making, but then they don't really. It's more of just following a couple of specific questions.
Yeah. That's why I
Like
like Borderlands.
Fallout.
If you fuck up the quest, you can redo it. Oblivion doesn't always have that option and fucking kills me inside. See, the true horror is not being able to do the quest.
Yeah, like there are some games like Heavy Rain. There's a bunch of endings where like a lot of main characters will die.
Ew.
I guess that's minor spoilers for Heavy Rain. But like there's different endings and your choices can lead to good or bad things, but it's a very linear game with respect to like it's basically just a bunch of quick time events. So they don't have to do like make a lot of content for their branching story. So they take advantage of that and make a branching story. I think The Quarry recently came out that's also kind of like that. So yeah, there are games that exist that way. It's just they're usually very constrained in other ways. And like most of the decisions only really affect it right at the end.
Yeah.
So
I know this isn't technically horror, but what about games with the spooky vibes? Kind of like Demons, Crass, Ghosts, and Goblins. Castlevania kind of fits in this because it's not true horror.
yeah, I think that just falls in the same thing as like Resident Evil, where they're using horror tropes.
Oh, the tropes, yep. Do you think these horror tropes enriched the game's experience, or made it worse?
Well, I think with respect to like Resident Evil, you wouldn't really have a game without.
Yeah. And that's pretty much Castlevania too, without that campy shit. Even some of the non-campy shit, but the tropes. You kind of wouldn't have Castlevania if you didn't have that gothic horror kind of... the feeling, the vibe. Kind of like in Hollow Knight, actually. Hollow Knight has horror tropes.
Yeah, Hollow Knight's one of the like Zelda also does this a lot where you have like a horror section.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even say Hollow Knight has a horror section. I believe it has, like, multiple callbacks to the horror genre or something to invoke misery or,
I don't know.
like, City of Tears. Everyone's just kind of fucked up, and you're in this gloomy city. The kingdom's essentially falling apart. The guardsmen are attacking you. People are getting infected. It's just a
Yeah,
downward spiral.
That's more of like a melancholic atmosphere than it is. Oh shoot, I messed up. Than it is a like horror. Though I will say,
That's why I said misery.
I know people. Yeah, but I know people who do think that the Deep Nest is quite horrible.
Especially if you got arachnophobia. Yeah, you're kind of fucked down there.
Like, I'd say that's probably, you know, the most horror part of
I
it.
would say even the void.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like Deep Nest didn't get me, but the void was giving me some like, I don't like this.
There's also the section where spoilers for Hollow Knight.
Spoilers! If you couldn't tell.
Yeah, where you see the like clone of yourself, and then you follow them, and then I guess I don't actually have to say what it is, so I can not spoil that.
Yeah,
That's true.
that whole thing. Didn't like that one.
Yeah.
I thought it was very interesting. It was very cool.
Apparently there's this whole thing where like doppelgangers are supposed to be extra scary to some people.
I think it was how it was presented at the beginning of that fight. In my opinion.
I guess there's like, I don't know if there's a, like, I think there are stories where like there's the doppelganger that comes and like replaces you because they look just like you.
Yep. There's actually a few horror games kind of built like that. I had an interesting one, actually, I watched. Where it was, you're in this, it was a very short one, but you're in essentially in this world that was ripped with war, like nuclear war. And you had a mirror.
Right.
And whenever you went through the mirror,
I can't say
you
I
traded
expected
places
this
with
room to
someone.
be empty. I'll
and
be
that
honest,
person would
the
trade
thick
places with
green
you.
waves of energy
However, it
made me
became
a little
that
suspicious.
you started going over there more and more to escape and essentially replacing this person in their life. And they were writing to their friend about how they're scared of getting taken away. So you were, it wasn't horror for you, it was horror for the other person, essentially. But it was like that replacement that you're pretty much giving up your life and living in this terrible area. This terrible time of nuclear war, while someone else gets to live in the modern world.
I mean, if they want to replace me, like, you know, have fun.
You just gotta...
Joke's on you, my life's shit, you don't want it.
Yeah.
Aren't you doing well for yourself, though?
Yeah.
Like, both of you?
Yeah, well... I'm doing pretty well, but...
That joke's on you,
that's the
there.
joke,
Your life is decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't have my life. I got 2 cats to look over after. Fucking my cats. The true horror, leaving your cats and pets behind.
This green stuff smells terrible. I hope it's not poisonous.
Have to focus on the puzzles.
Yeah.
It smells dry and fruity. Like...
I'm still not sure what the green stuff is.
Neither am I. So far, it's acted the same as everything else.
But it looks pretty.
Does it?
I don't think it looks that bad. It's interesting. Alright, what else do we got? atmosphere? I think we talked about that last time, right?
Yeah.
Oh. It persists in a destroyed room.
Oh,
Ah,
okay.
it persists in a Doom world. Nice.
Yeah. So you basically just need to load up this place with green blocks.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're stuck.
I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it seems so there is just one instance of that thing.
Hmm.
One shared instance.
What to you guys would make, like, what gets you the most in a horror game or a horror experience? What always gets you, or you find the most horrifying?
Uh, I don't know.
Cauldrath?
Not.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think we kind of established that I don't really like get much out of horror games.
But not
I mean,
even just horror games, just something that kind of just sends a chill down your spine, even if you just think about it.
I appreciate horror games. Like I enjoy playing them, and you know they can be stressful, but also I feel like the baseline that my emotions are at when I'm playing one of those games would be a lot less impactful, I guess, than other people's emotions.
But there's nothing, like, no types of body horror that just gets you. Nothing, not even just sometimes the occasional jump scare, a dog dying, a
These
PC.
enchanted objects are.
I mean, sure, if there's an unexpected jump scare that can
Stay where you
make me jump a little, but
don't
like
disappear.
that's just because it's unexpected, not because it's
All the other
scary.
objects that act bizarre.
Yeah.
Like I'll have the same reaction if just any loud noise plays in my headphones because I'll be reacting to take off my headphones because I don't like loud noises, or like I'll be turning my headphones down. It's kind of the same reaction.
Yeah, I think a lot of fear is rooted in like sensing a potential for loss, and so it needs to be like associated with the expectation that you might lose something. And in most games you aren't really risking much.
Yeah, that's true. I'm
I
not
guess
even just thinking game-wise, though. I'm just talking about in general.
I mean, good
Like in
good
or go
sound
ahead.
design and like, you know, music atmosphere is probably what creates atmosphere the most for me. To rephrase that, good sound design creates atmosphere.
And ambiance.
Yes.
Don't forget them sexy shadows. Well, for me, my thing is certain types of body horror.
Hmm.
Mainly anything that has to do with the eyes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes me
I've seen some
uncomfortable.
videos of, like, horror shit, and I'm like, oh, I'm not usually squeamish, but sometimes that gets me. It's like, ooh.
yeah, I guess like I can kind of like if something terrible is happening to someone, I can kind of empathize with them.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's like,
Yikes.
but then like so generally if somebody dies immediately, it's just like, oh, they're dead.
yeah. But if they're getting tortured in kind of grotesque ways, it's like,
Yeah.
I like the Saw movies, I guess. I've never really watched many. That's not because I don't like the content, it's I just haven't watched them. Shit like that from what I have seen.
I don't know if scary is the right word. It just watching someone get tortured doesn't sound appealing to me.
Oh
Like,
no, it's not
like,
appealing. That's the point. It's not supposed to be appealing.
Sure.
Hopefully it's not appealing.
I would hope not.
I think you just
Well,
lost
I
your
mean-
stack of blocks.
People think it's fun to watch those movies, though. Like, otherwise people wouldn't watch them, right?
It's enjoyable to see how it happens and if they survive. They don't necessarily watch it for the horror itself. Like the torturing itself, I should say. They want to see the people, how they're gonna survive, how they're gonna get out, or if they die.
I suppose so.
So I think a misconception is that all media has to be like enjoyed.
That's
Like
true.
you can like watch a movie with the intention of feeling sad.
Marley
Yeah.
and me.
And that's a completely appropriate thing to do.
Yeah.
Like the human experience is not entirely made up of joy.
Mhm.
British Terabithia. That one still gets me. I can't watch that movie. I cry every time.
Is that door gonna stay open?
That's what I was just thinking. Oh no.
Nope. Doomed world.
Doomed World! Doomslayer. That's another thing. Is the original Doom supposed to be considered horror?
I believe we talked about this last week, that people at the time would be much more inclined to call it horror than
Nowadays.
people nowadays who
Yeah, that's
would
right, we did.
definitely not call it horror.
One of those games that uses horror tropes. I mean, pretty much every game that has monsters in it of some sort is using a type of horror
Yeah.
trope.
Mhm.
Just most games do not portray the monsters doing the monstrous things. Because a lot of these games are games focusing on being enjoyed.
Or being a badass.
Yeah, well, power fantasy is usually considered like a thing somebody does for enjoyment.
Yeah.
Now, I guess if they did show the like monsters doing the horrible things, then you'd like get more of a juxtaposition, or like you'd probably feel better about murdering them.
Yeah. Kind of like in Van
Yeah.
Helsing, the movie. You see them do shitty things, and then you want them dead. And then Hugh Jackman, in his sexy American accent, goes and kills them.
Doom 3 shows monsters doing terrible things. In Doom 1 it's implied, but and there are like corpses littered around of your friendly Marines, as well as the intermission text. So there's still a bit of that in Doom, is what I can
Yeah.
say.
Even Daggerfall had a lot of horror elements like that at times. Just find corpses around in dungeons and shit. Bunch of murderers, bunch of monsters, bunch of assholes.
Like I'm sure in Super Mario Brothers, the Goombas and the Koopas do terrible things off screen.
Oh god, I hope Jack Black Bowser does some terrible things. Then I hope he sings
It's a
while
weird
he's
thing
doing
to
it.
say.
Bowser's supposed to be an asshole! I'm sorry I want asshole Bowser. Literally turned the whole kingdom into blocks. And then you kill those blocks yourselves for money.
Yeah. Oh
That's
yeah,
still canon.
isn't that? Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like that's something
Nintendo
that
would
they
retract.
would never want to acknowledge.
I honestly don't know. It's canon in my book for Mario World Bros. 1. Mario's a murderer. Where's Mario? In jail.
So if somebody gets turned to stone by like a Medusa or something like that, and you smash that statue, are you a murderer?
They showed that in Castlevania, the show, that yes, you kind of still are.
That's only the show.
That's the show. But it makes sense. If you unstone and your head is cut off, everything that was built up in your body is gonna come kind of gushing out of there from blood. Because, you know, you're dead. Yeah. You're dead.
Okay.
You're extra dead now. If you weren't dead before, you are dead now. Actually, yeah, if you broke the head off, would you still have consciousness in there until everything started, or would it just consider your head cut off? Because you're stone.
I assume you're not conscious when you're
What's the point of this?
turned to stone.
Castlevania, the show, apparently she was. That was the weird thing.
I don't remember that part.
I do. Because she was commenting about it in the 4th season. And then Trevor responded. So yeah, kids, if you get turned to stone, hope you don't die and hope you are maybe semi-conscious. Oh yeah, and Dr. Stone, they were all conscious too.
I think being conscious would be worse.
Oh yeah, they were conscious for over like 1,000 years or some shit.
So you're telling me that petrifying yourself is a way to achieve immortality?
No, I am not saying that.
It's like cryogenically freezing yourself, or
Yeah, that's
It's
what I
not
was.
cryogenic though, it'd be oh, what's the Latin word
Carbonite.
for stone?
I mean, if you can unpetrify someone like you can in Castlevania, then it sounds pretty dandy.
Castlevania, most of them died but
double
one
checking
because of the
what's on this
Cyclops.
bit. There's nothing here. Yep. Nothing.
I know
I
nothing.
expected.
You know nothing though.
No, sadly not. I don't think.
you know nothing at Atcero Snow.
That's Snowrow, actually, gosh.
Sorry.
Learn my holiday names! I only have 2 of them! Actually, technically 4. Oh,
Technically.
two are seasonal. Well, 2 are... Well, 3 are seasonal, 1 is holiday specific. Because that Scarecrow's the only Halloween specific one. That Snow Row is more just winter. Amber, out. No.
No. No.
No. He's fighting things.
Can't be doing that. It's not allowed.
Don't you dare come onto my lap. No. Not right now. Amber, no, don't go that way. No, I love you, but no. You're a little shit.
Oh.
Of course. I can't exit a chest that's inside a solid object. That doesn't make sense. Why would I ever think that would work?
Seems mean to me.
Making bread. Are you gonna open up a bakery? Would you guys, eat from a bakery that my cat has made biscuits on?
Why not?
I don't answer that.
but she's so good at it. Ew. You're so good at it.
What else does your cat do?
Eat the fairy lights. Eat my toilet paper.
Oh.
Eat the towels. Attack my clothing.
Why would they do that?
Because she's
Sounds
a dumbass. I love her, but she's so dumb.
It sounds like it's intentional.
No, she just likes eating paper and cardboard.
Oh.
And then Ash doesn't play with her as much as he should. Because he doesn't want to play with her. Because he's a grouchy old man.
Oh.
Alright, what else? I'm trying to think.
What's your favorite campy horror besides Castlevania?
Campy horror. I don't know if I like if there's any other like movie-wise. Definitely Evil Dead, obviously. I need to rewatch it though. For movie-wise though, yeah, Evil Dead. Otherwise, video game-wise, I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Like Castlevania is mainly like the only campy horror game I can think of playing. Other than maybe Luigi's Mansion.
Maybe.
Yeah, I can't think of a lot of other campy horror.
Yeah, there's not many that do it well like Castlevania. Ah, yes, Jill, the master of lockpicking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Capcom just seems to be like the best at campiness in general.
It's hard to say because even Demon's Crest, that really isn't campy. It has a lot of horror tropes, but it's never campy with that horror.
Is that true?
Yes. It's just the style it's presented in is very horrific, but it's never campy about it.
What about the stuff where Arma is... Like, where you're talking with Arma?
He's just being a cocky bitch. It's not really horror.
Mm.
It's campy, don't get me wrong, but it's not like horror campy. He's just being dork.
Kind of like Devil May Cry is campy, but isn't horror campy.
Yeah. I guess I've never really played Devil May Cry, so I can't comment on it too much.
Just don't play a lot of Capcom games, do you?
I played Mega Man X.
Just the first one?
I think an 8, I want to say.
You're not a true fan if you haven't played every single game in the series at least 4 times.
I've never said I'm a true Mega Man fan. Getting nerded on.
Yeah, but you see, I want to put you down because you're not a fan.
That's fine.
I'm just kidding, I don't play Mega Man either.
Also, I don't
Seems
care
like
if I'm a true fan or not. I'm a true fan of Castlevania. That's like it and Zelda.
Fan sound is short for fanatic, which makes it seem like it's actually a bad thing.
Yeah, but Frankel is hot. And Richter. I'll be a fanatic for him. Oh yeah, horror and Zelda games. And kid games in general. Or games aimed at children. We could talk about that. Fucking Zelda with dead hands. That evil motherfucker.
Yes, you mentioned that. What about Earthbound? I've never played that. Is that spooky?
The final boss has some horror elements. That is about it, from what I can remember.
Oh.
It's like the final area and the final boss like goes from 0 to 100 from a cute little game about kids saving the world to being like, what the fuck am I fighting this eldritch monster for?
Interesting.
And it's, from what I can recall, it's done pretty well.
That's nice. It's nice when things are done well.
Yeah, like with Gygus, the background image takes the shape of a fetus. And I think it's hypothesized that it's a dead one due to the fact the director, he saw a movie back when he was a kid and it was like apparently really fucked up. And that was in the movie he watched. And it's like, okay. Why'd you put it in a kid's game, my guy? Yeah, dead hands, the mummies? Oh god, what are the mummies called? Oh no. Oh no, they start with a G. I forgot the name. Oh shit, I gotta Google it.
Start with a G, you say?
Gibdos. Thank you. Gibdos are pretty fucked up. Especially, I would say, in Twilight Princess. Actually, the whole fucking Arbiter's Grounds in Twilight Princess were fucking dark. And I fucking love the level, but holy shit. Looking back at it as an adult, I'm like, what the fuck did they do?
Interesting.
That and... Shadow Temple was never really spooky, for me at least. But I would say the torture chamber they had in one of the areas when you had to get... Was that where you got the... No, it's where you used the Eye of Shadow or whatever, the Eye of Truth. But it wasn't the actual, like, level, I think?
The well that I think was supposed to be scary.
Was the well the one that had the torture chamber?
I don't remember where the torture chamber was.
Because that was underground and you had the... You had a lot of re-deads. You had, I think, some of the fucking wall crawlers. Oh no, I forgot their name too. With the hands. Wow, I'm a Zelda fan and I'm not remembering shit for names. Wallmasters?
That sounds like a name that is applicable.
Yeah, Wallmaster. I remembered it. Holy shit. Them. They were in Ocarina of Time. Yeah, even stuff like the Forest Temple had horror elements, I would say. With stuff like... just the decrepit and worn down nature of it. And then you had the ghost you had to go find. Which the ghosts themselves weren't creepy by any means. But like the music they play and then fighting Phantom Ganon. They just have a lot of horror elements they blended into the adult Link timeline. Compared to what you had in the child timeline. Like, they amped it up when you got to being an adult.
Sure does sound spooky.
Because you're an adult now and you can handle it.
Exactly!
Yeah.
Not when you're a kid playing it, though. I never minded it. Also, I just noticed that area had a Triforce background. How fitting.
Uh-huh. I was thinking I could get I wanted to see if I could stack 2 chests. Like stack a chest with water in a water area, but I'm not sure if that's possible.
Yeah, most of these puzzles have been like fairly obvious solutions, and I'm not really sure how this one works. Like, obviously you need to put it in water, but then like how do you continue on afterwards?
You could.
And also, I'm wondering if every area where you can get sent to the wall dimension has its own secret puzzle. Like if I were to put a chest on the platform that raises, and then
I don't know if
exit
it would
that
just
chest.
raise the chest up, or if it
Actually,
would.
that wouldn't even work because it's not a green chest. It only worked in the other level because it persisted where in its location.
Amber, no. Bad.
Recursing.
Yeah. Recursive is scary. Psychological horror. What other emotions can horror games try to make someone feel?
Despair. Dread.
Metroid Dread?
Yeah. Well, that's what the Emmys did for me, because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to dodge those fuckers once they got to me.
How would you define dread? Is it just like
Sinking
just
feeling. For me, at least, it's a sinking feeling in my stomach knowing that something is happening that's fucked up or wrong, or something that is gonna happen that is fucked up or wrong. Oop, there goes
like
the cat.
a feeling of like a situation you want to avoid
Yep.
rather than, I guess, normal fear is just like um thinking that something bad is going to happen, but not necessarily. I'm trying to think of how to differentiate them.
For me, it's very much a feeling in my gut that separates the two.
Hmm.
Dread for me is this huge pit in my stomach that I'm like, oh, fuck. While fear is more of a, I wouldn't say hyperventilating, but breathing faster, heart rate's increased, more of an adrenaline rush. While dread is more like just kind of being stuck in that moment.
I think survival horror tends to lean more into the dread because you are anticipating future situations, say in which you run out of ammo. Like you know that you're almost out of resources and you need to get past some enemies. So you're dreading doing that.
Hmm.
I look
I'm
forward to
dreading running
passion.
past those enemies in the school in or in Silent Hill 1. 'Cause they're really annoying.
So I guess dread is something that's like in the future you anticipate something bad happening, where fear is like something could be happening right now.
I
That
think so.
depends. I've had it where I would feel dread in the moment of things happening. Kinda, it's almost like this inability to do something about it as well, in my opinion.
What happens when you, what is the Google definition of dread?
Let's Google it. Dread definition. Anticipate with great apprehension or fear, or just great fear or apprehension.
Alright, so it does have to do with apprehension then.
Greatly fear, dreadful. And then for fear, unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that something or someone or something is dangerous, likely cause pain or a threat. Feeling of anxiety concerning the outcome of something or the safety and well-being of someone. The likelihood of something unwelcome happening. Archaic, a mixed feeling of dread and reverence. So it can mean a few things in that regard, at least.
Yeah, I
Seems to
guess you-
mostly be about things in the future, though.
Not always, though. Like,
Mostly,
you can
though.
fear something happening now.
Well, I was talking about dread.
Oh, no, even then. Like, to
Yeah.
me, it's not just the future, I guess. Because I do it based on that feeling that I get.
Interesting.
Because it's a great fear or apprehension.
So I guess dread is a subset of fear.
Yes.
Wonder if there's like
It's
a list
fear
of
leveled
types
up.
of fear.
Maybe the thing you feel in your stomach overlaps mostly with dread, but sometimes you're actually feeling fear.
No. Not for me, at least. I know myself pretty well with that. I
Yeah, I'm
psychoanalyze myself way too much.
These definitions confuse me.
To me, because it's that great fear. And
Maybe you're just misusing the word dread, I don't know.
But great fear. It is a subset of fear, but it's great fear. Fear to me is more like worse anxiety. It's not full on I want to throw up because this feeling in my stomach is so bad kind of fear. That's to me is dread. If I want to throw up because something feels so terrible or so bad, yeah, that to me is dread. Well, if I don't feel like I'm gonna throw up, I consider that to be fear.
Interesting.
Which I do not experience from video games. I only get anxiety, if that, from games. Or apprehension.
Okay.
This place.
I don't really know. Not really attached to the definitions of the feelings that I feel, so I wouldn't be able to say for certain if what I'm feeling at any particular time is like fear or dread or anxiety.
Yeah, I think an issue with our society is that we don't like talking about negative emotions, and so we aren't very well equipped to discuss them.
I also think people don't try to understand their feelings all the time.
Mhm.
Which they should.
Yeah.
You should understand your feelings.
So especially when you have definitions that are mostly only different, like in a literary sense,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't really matter if the feeling of fear and apprehension you feel is fear or dread or anxiety. Like, it's the same feeling for you. It doesn't matter what you call it.
But it is helpful to be able, like, to have a shared language when you're discussing something with somebody
Yeah.
else.
It's
It
good
is,
to have
yeah.
a framework. Because we all come from different backgrounds. Every single person has a different experience, whether it's through reading, whether it's through feeling it, or experiencing it, or whether it's through, like, seeing a movie and it explains it.
Yeah.
We all have different experiences and backgrounds when it comes to learning those words, too. And what we associate with each one.
Yeah, but like, what am I gonna do? Gatekeep someone's language of their emotions? No.
I think it comes down to how you personally view it.
Right.
Because, yeah, I'm not gonna say how I feel dread is gonna be the same to how someone else feels dread. For my dread, it could be they feel fear. But I know what it means to me for when I feel dread, at least. Because I
I mean,
can
it
only
sounds
speak
like
about me.
then the word isn't that useful if everyone has a different subjective definition to it and nobody like holds themselves to what what it actually should mean.
That's emotions in general, though.
Right.
Because emotions are just feelings. Everyone feels different. Each one of us has roughly different amounts of chemicals that our brain releases to give us those emotions. some people can't feel happiness. That their brain just says, no, I can't make you dopamine. And so their version of happiness is going to be much different from what someone who has properly producing serotonin can say. And it's not that they can't stick to the definition, it's just their definition is different than what everyone else has experienced because feelings are very subjective.
Well, you could define things as like like a specific amount or a percentage amount, and so like if somebody's incapable of reaching a certain amount of like dopamine or serotonin release, then they would be incapable of being happy by like a magnitude based definition. But like the experience of a certain level of those chemicals would be similar between people.
Yeah. Sometimes. I think it also depends on how much you've tricked yourself into feeling a certain way.
Yeah. So I now see the problem with the approach to this puzzle. That I can't just throw the key, because then it will hit the useless door.
Maybe there's something behind that door.
You're right. Could be. I don't think there is though.
Could fuck around and find out.
Okay.
No, don't!
Master is scared that he's going to
Missable.
yeah.
Fuck.
On forever.
Gone forever. Ah!
Yeah.
He was probably afraid of losing her power ring.
Very fair.
It's true.
But yeah, we're kind of becoming like armchair psychologists at this point.
I'm not. I'm just
Okay.
explaining what I can feel. For
Yeah.
me. And that emotions are a very subjective thing.
Hmm.
Because that's just kind of in their nature, is it's personal. No one can say, oh, this is this emotion for you when it might not be. That's okay.
No. But like Cauldrath was saying, it's always in our best interest to try to define these as best we can, using descriptive language that can possibly convey meaning between several people, even though there are different people who feel things in different ways.
You're a psychologist. In my opinion. We're nerds talking about Metroidvania games on a podcast. I don't know if we can really discuss the inner workings of all that.
I'm not saying it's something we're able to, I'm just saying it's something that like we should do, because it's just the convenience of having a shared language with other people.
Yeah, but
And
I
I
don't
feel
talk
like
about my feelings with other people, so how useful is it then?
Okay.
Well,
It's not related.
maybe you should talk about your feelings with other people.
No, I don't need to.
Didn't you just say, or
Yeah,
was it
but
Cauldrath who
Dread
said
was
that,
for
like-
this.
what?
What?
You're just confusing me now, I'm sorry. Don't follow.
Okay, in general, I don't discuss how I feel. I can explain my feelings on things like dread because it's not an emotion I feel very often, but in general, like how I'm generally feeling, I do not tell anyone. If I'm sad,
Okay.
don't tell people. If I'm mad, my close friends will know, but I won't talk about it.
I feel like that is a problem with
Yeah,
like
I
just in
thought-
general.
I thought we were all saying that it's generally like a good idea to be able to describe the emotions that
Oh
you're
yeah,
feeling.
definitely.
Yeah, like if somebody asks how you're doing and you have like a cold and you tell people, "Hey, I have a cold," nobody's like, "Oh man, what a jerk, they told people that they had a cold." But if you're like having a bad mental day, then people don't want to hear it.
I I mean, I don't know about other people. I can only speak for myself. I do have people I could talk to. However, I'm a very private person in that regard. If
Well,
I'm...
pretty much everyone is, so...
No, I know quite a few people who, with their close friends, will discuss their problems. And I think that's most people who will talk about their bad days is with close friends. If they have close friends. I just saw a statistic that most people don't have, like, a friend nowadays, like 14 to 20%, and it makes me kind of sad, actually.
14-20% do have a friend?
Do
like
not
that,
have a
you mean?
close friend or friends at all.
Oh.
It's a
Okay.
Friends have
really
all-
sad
You mean
statistic.
most people do have that friend, though?
Huh?
Like,
But most people do have that friend.
I would hope they do.
yeah,
Hope
like
so.
I don't have any close friends, but I have lots of friends. So,
I got a few close friends.
yeah.
I got a
I
few
do
close
have-
friends.
Friends to which I discuss my troubles with the way.
But I
You
was
just make-
raised very independently, and I personally still think that way. Like, at the end of the day, it's just me. It's just my emotions. I gotta get through them regardless. And usually sleep does that for me. Sometimes. Unless there's a vibrations test coming up where I could fail, then nothing can help me.
Oh no.
Except study.
Reading is good.
This is a lot of chests.
This is chess
Yeah.
to the game.
So I need to bring a key here, and then I need to throw the green box over there. And then,
Oh, yeah.
somewhere else I
But if
can
you
reach
throw it
from
all the way over there, then it's gonna just hit that other wall.
Yeah, which doesn't really, help me. Here's a solution.
Or you can
Somehow.
throw... Let's see, you can throw it over there, go into it, come back out. Oh, the door will still be gone. You'd need another chest to, like... You need to keep going into chests.
So we got 2 minutes. Any closing thoughts on horror games? And the horror of your own emotions and consuming your thoughts at night.
Uh,
Existential dread.
I fucking hate that, man. I would just be chilling in bed and then the universe is like, hey, bitch, you're fucking insignificant. It's like, no, I was having such a good time.
But the fact that you're insignificant means you can get away with a lot more stuff.
See, I also have a very strong moral compass in terms of, like, other people who are strangers. I don't want to hurt no one. I don't want to get away with that kind of shit.
the
We're robbing a
fact that
bank.
the fact that we all share this useless existence is it's beneficial because everyone else is also suffering on the inside. So yeah.
Everyone else is suffering too. It's great. We're all suffering together. Suffering for everyone. 5 o'clock special. Or whatever time you listen to this.
We always assume that they're listening to it at night because we always say good night at the end.
Hey, we could say good morning this time if you want to.
Could
Is that gonna
say anything
spawn you inside of the...
you want
Maybe you're
to.
gonna get another secret area again.
What I needed to do was go deeper into it so that I could come out from it, but I didn't do that. Just need to figure out how to do that and keep my key.
Alright, it is time.
Oh no.
Oh no. Have a good day, everyone.
There.